Hello, humans. Welcome back. My name is Sarah Verghese, and I am the visibility coach. My business is She-Rex Marketing. She-Rex as in T-Rex. Yes, I carry around a little tiny dinosaur named Martha the T-Rex because she's just here to remind us that business and branding doesn't have to be boring. So I want to start off with a story. So I was on a walk with a friend and her two littles, a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and we saw these young boys fishing off of a deck. We noticed from a distance that they had all these really pretty lures. Like some of them had like feathers off of it, and some of them were longer and had like, I don't know, tails to them. And she asked me, she's like, why do you think there are so many different kinds? And so as we approach, I said, do you want to ask them or do you want me? She's like, I want you to. And I said, okay, I'll ask them. And so I said, we're curious. Why do you have so many different types of lures? And the boy said, he's like, well, because I want a specific type of fish. And I know this one is going to catch this kind of fish. Now, do I remember what he was talking about? No. But in my head, I'm like, ooh, this is an analogy that I will use again later. So think about the fishermen out in Alaska, the ones that go out on those boats specifically to catch either halibut or salmon or whatever they're promising the people. If they went out there and they threw a random worm into the big ocean, would they catch a salmon? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Are they more likely to catch a lot of salmon with a very specific kind of lure? Yes. And when you get really good at it, you can catch lots and lots of salmon with a very specific technique, a specific lure. They know exactly what part of the ocean to go to come get it. Same with any other kind of fish, right? The trained fishermen who want lots of fish are going to use a very specific type of lure to get that kind of fish. Now let's compare this to business. When you are looking to get a large amount of clients, like you turn the faucet on and you want a large amount of clients coming in, you need to be very specific in your messaging. Your messaging is your lures. Your messaging is, hey, I'm going to talk to you about this today. I want to talk to you about this today. Let me talk to you about this today. And every message that goes out is specific to the kind of client that you're looking for. Now, I was on Instagram this morning and they posted a reel that I'm like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, but does that relate to your audience? Now, they're not my clients, because if they were my clients, they would have known that we don't just post anything just to post. Not everything is content. So I need you to think about when you're posting something, don't just post it because you see someone else post and you're like, I relate to that. I'm going to do that because I relate to that. Just because you relate to that, that's not the question. The question isn't, do I relate to this? The question is, if I post this, is this something I want my clients to relate to? And if the answer is, I don't know, then that's probably a no. Or maybe it's an honest, I don't know, because I don't really know how to talk to my clients. That's when you need a visibility coach. This is when you need to think about the messages that you put out matter. They're like putting lures out into the ocean. Are you fishing in the right area? Are you putting out the right messages? Are you attracting just anybody? Because just anybody isn't going to come in as often as everybody that is attracted to that one message. Does that make sense? Even if you're not a fisherman, even if you don't ever fish, I'm not sure if I've ever actually been fishing. But can you understand the fact that a very broad message that doesn't really speak to anybody might grab some person's attention, but it's going to take you a lot longer sitting there and a very consistent sitting there throwing out very, very broad messages for somebody to go, oh, I think that maybe that talks to me, versus getting really specific on your messaging and over and over and over again. This is how you're showing up, and you're going to get more people because you're looking for a very specific kind of client. Okay. If you need more help with this, let's have a chat. It's time for our heart to heart. Heart to heart. You are not behind in your life. I know sometimes it feels like that. I know sometimes it's too easy for you to compare yourself to everyone else around you. And so why show up? Why show up? Because that person is further ahead than I am, and I'm not going to be able to compete with that. You're not behind in your life. I was walking through the woods at the very end of fall, and most of the leaves were gone already. Most of the leaves had fallen and totally bare, and I came across this beautiful tree that still had yellow leaves all over it. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, hello, little late bloomer. Can you imagine if a tree tried to have a complex about being a late bloomer? And meanwhile, when all the other leaves were down, that little tree gave me so much happiness because I was able to see the beautiful yellow leaves, not even brown, not even red, yellow leaves that were still on the tree that hadn't turned yet and hadn't fallen. You can bless people wherever you are, in whatever stage of life you are. Wherever you are in your life, you can be a blessing. You can still bloom and blossom no matter what stage you're in. Stop comparing yourself to other people in your industry. Stop comparing yourself to other people in your family. Stop comparing yourself to other people in your neighborhood and in your circles of life. You can still be a beast. You can still be a blessing. You can still be amazing with exactly who you are right now. Don't let that stop you from showing up, okay? You're not behind in your life. Your life was designed specifically for you. And you never know who's watching you. You never know who someone else also thinks they're behind in life, but then they watch you step up and bloom and blossom in a season of life that they can relate to. And then you just became an inspiration for somebody else. Okay? It's my heart to heart for today. I want you to show up as yourself so you can show up for other people too, even if you don't know that they're watching you. Again, my name is Sarah Verghese. I am your visibility coach. I have a 6-month program where I handhold you through all of the ups and downs, emotions, all of the encouragement. I also give you a lot of strategies and tactics. I'm not the kind of coach where I wait for you to come up for the answer on your own. You know, I'm the kind of coach that I'm going to give you the answers. I'm going to give you the strategies. I'm going to give you the homework assignments. And I'm going to say, hey, next week, why don't you try doing this and this? Or depending on what your week looks like, I'm like, hey, I think this week's going to be too busy for you. Only concentrate on this right now. Hey, I'm going to teach you how to batch all your content. Hey, we don't just talk about social media, by the way. Hey, try that local group. Why don't you go visit that local group and go check them out? Why don't you go hand out business cards in this location? Why don't you go talk over here? Go see if you can get in front of that crowd. Oh, you want me to help you write your speech? Yeah, I'll help you write your speech. I do a little bit of everything that is visibility. Okay. So I'm going to get you out in front of people because really my goal is to make you into a T-Rex. Not a tiny T-Rex either. I'm going to make you into a massive business that no one can ignore. And everyone everywhere knows who you are, just like a T-Rex. That's why it's part of my brand. Is I'm going to help you go from unknown to unstoppable. And it's going to be so much fun in the process. I can't wait to see you next week. And if you have any questions about anything that I've said today, or maybe my fishing analogies were completely off and you want to correct me in the comments, that's fine. You can correct me. And until then, if you need visibility help, contact me. Let's have a chat. Let's watch your business blow up in a good way. I'll talk to you later. Bye.